Terrible planning is what happened. Welcome back. This is the Hit Factor podcast with one Jeffrey Cawthorn and one Mr. Jay Beal, who is apparently he is a chainsaw aficionado, is what I've heard. But he is not a safe chainsaw aficionado. He likes to try to start forest fires, which that is just a theme for Jay, right? Like he had like this phase where he went into the forest and just every day and just randomly started fires.
Trying to burn it down.
Yeah, just see what he can make burn. Now he's taking all of his safety measures off his chainsaws. You know, just let it all go.
I always wear shoes when I operate a chainsaw. Too.
Wow.
Not
that
true.
Actually is a revelation. Oh, you don't?
No,
you don't do that. So, yeah, you need to talk to my buddy Bob Crow about chainsaws because, like, you know, if you've been around Bob and you've just asked him a question about bourbon, you know that you're going to be there for 30, 45, maybe an hour just to hear him talk about bourbon for a while. And chainsaws are no different. And I've got to run his chainsaws a couple of times, and he's very particular about how everything works.
I'm definitely going to ask him about that. I actually think about it's funny. Ever since we got to shoot with it, I mean, it was my first time shooting with him at IPSC Nationals. So I think about him very frequently, just like his face. And I think...
Interesting. Should we go into that more?
Like, I just think about the sound of his voice and, like, maybe advice that he would give me. And and we didn't talk that much, but, like, I think of him as, like, someone who's very wise and that like I should listen to if he were to tell me to do something.
Yeah, he kind of gives that grandpa vibe a lot. So I think that's fair, you know.
I did tell him that he was one of the first like professional shooters that I found on YouTube and watched a video of, which it wasn't him that posted it. It was like some live stream of the 2017 Limited Nationals Super Squad or something.
Yeah.
And I remember I told him about this, and I remember I mean I've watched that video every year like multiple times. And he's, you know, I've always, so it was so cool to shoot with him. I don't know if he realizes how cool I think that was, but he's probably not even going to listen to this, but that's okay.
Oh, I'll make sure he does, at least this part. He'll listen to this part for sure.
Usually if we go live on YouTube, he'll pop into the chat. Somehow he knows we're on.
Yeah. Somehow. He'll figure it out.
Well, he might get on there.
Yeah, his big deal with chainsaws, he's like, yeah, all these chainsaws, they're rated for, and I don't know anything about chainsaws, but he tells me they're all rated, everything they're rated for is all at sea level. Well, he's cutting trees down at 10,000 feet. He's up on the Grand Mesa cutting trees down. So he's like, yeah, I have no power up there. So he sends them off to, I don't know, the chainsaws he has, they don't make anymore, I guess. I don't know. Again, I don't know about chainsaws. He's probably mad. I'm gonna probably tell it wrong.
He probably is. Yeah.
So he's collected a whole bunch of them, and he geeks out about all of them and all the different sizes. And then he's had them sent out and had them all ported. So
that's what I was. I was just
run really well. And then I think he's ported a couple himself. But yeah, I felt very honored because
you know what that means, Jeremy?
That he ported it.
Yeah.
I mean, roughly, like not like. I'm really not a big engine motor guy. I roughly, he showed me what it looked like because he had one taken apart that he was like porting and stuff. So he showed me what he was doing. So yeah, and then we went and chopped trees down when Declan was like 2, and he let me run it, which I thought was probably not smart on his end, but it was fascinating because, you know, he likes to just go chop trees down just to chop them down sometimes, but he heats his house in the wintertime. Like he won't even turn like the heater on in his house. He just heats it with a wood burning stove and keeps his house warm that way. So we were there and we helped him chop wood. I did most of it. Bob just sat and he didn't do much. He doesn't like to work hard. It was really me doing all the work. We stacked rows and rows I don't know how many cords of wood. I think 4 or 5. I think he has 4 or 5 cords that he tries to have stacked up. Anyway, it's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, because he said Billy likes to keep it like
Oh gosh.
75 or something like there. He's like, doesn't
Oh
matter
yeah.
what it is outside, it's 75 in here.
That's exactly right. She keeps it nice and warm and toasty. So yeah, they go through it. They go through a lot of wood. He's got a whole system down, and it's entertaining. It's fun to. I mean, anybody that gets that geeked up about chopping wood down is like, it's just entertaining. And then he actually the skill set of chopping, like felling a tree and having it fall where you want it to fall,
Yeah.
and doing it safely and that sort of stuff. That was my first experience of that. Like, I've chopped trees down with a chainsaw before, but it's just like you just go hack on it till it falls down, right? And you don't know anything about it. Your chainsaw gets like pinched down. You're like, well, how do I get this out of here? And so then you're trying to like tug on it, pull on it.
Yeah.
And then somebody that has a clue how to do it and make it like they have like, you have sights on a chainsaw.
There's lines. Yeah, your
Yeah, it's like,
line.
what is this? I didn't know there were sights on a chainsaw so you could line things up and know where it's gonna fall. So that was cool.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
I get so excited. I mean, I've worked with wood my whole life,
Mhm.
with the timber frames and stuff like that. And so I get so excited with, like, different kinds of wood, and like, how much wood you can leave so that the tree, like the different woods are brittle, and some are more
Yeah.
stringy, and like how much wood you can leave. And I am very much a beginner at that, but I love experimenting with this in safe small trees.
Yeah.
And it's so exciting, and I don't know, it's such a cool feeling to be like, to control the direction of a tree, especially when it's leaning like in a way that's, you're fighting that,
Mhm.
and you can kind of make it happen exactly how you want.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah, it's a world and a skill set that I didn't really know existed before Bob's like, "Hey, let's go chop a tree down." Okay. Sounds fun. Yeah, so we have on tap, everybody here was invited to the World Shoot, South Africa World Shoot. So we're going to see if Jay can talk Jeff and I into going to South Africa for that. We need to hear about Jay's running. I know he ran a race like a couple months ago and put up some like ridiculous numbers barefoot. Jeff and I finished our carnivore
I'm
diet.
pretty about that. Yeah.
That wrapped up this last weekend, and we both binged pretty hard the day that it wrapped up, and there were some experiences had.
Yeah, we gotta talk, because that was incredibly fascinating, that whole adventure.
Yeah. So we'll get into that. And then Jeff wants a tattoo. So we're going to take suggestions, and whatever the most popular suggestion is, the next match we're going to take Jeff to get that tattooed somewhere on him. Right? Isn't that what you agreed to?
Yeah, thigh tattoo.
Mm.
Yeah, because I only wanted to show when I'm wearing booty shorts.
Oh,
like Jeremy likes. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are my favorites. Those are my favorites.
You guys inspired me with the carnivore thing a little bit. It kind of like, I was contemplating taking a couple of goats to the butcher goats that I just wasn't gonna keep, and then I think I was like, it must have been listening to that where I was like, yeah, okay, I'm taking them. So I took 2 goats the other day to the butcher.
Nice.
And so us eating meat motivated you to slaughter some goats?
Yeah, I mean, like, I probably in the past week and a half have eaten more meat than I have in, the last like 6 months probably.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I got, well, part of it's because we get hay from a guy, and then he'll bring hay up, and then we'll give him some blueberries, and then he gives us some meat. And before I wasn't really like, I was like, oh cool, like, and then it sat in the freezer, and then I was like, well, I'm I'm gonna like cook up some of this hamburger, and I'm like, I don't know, it's good.
It is
Anyway,
good.
I think
It's great.
that
Yeah.
was inspired by you guys.
Nice.
Anyway,
It sounds like it.
I want to hear more about it. So go ahead.
That kombucha stuff doesn't fly with carnivore.
Well, it's a delayed kind of inspiration, so you just wait.
Yeah, I feel it coming. You're taking baby steps. That's good. I feel it coming. Should we? Okay, well, let's just get on the carnivore. So we talked. I think we talked about it that we were doing it the last time we recorded, but it was 40 days. We basically started the day we got back from nationals. We started on the carnivore diet. How strict were you? How successful were you, Jeff, for that 40 days? Nothing but meat, animal products.
I mean, I was pretty close. I had some like towards the end of it, I was drinking like some electrolyte drink mix deals, right?
What were you like? Which one?
Oh, not like a name brand you would know.
Oh,
yeah, it was
typical.
one that it had like, I think it's sweetened with stevia. That's what it had in it. So
Element?
No, it wasn't Element.
Oh.
But yeah, but for most of it, I mean, it was just beef, butter, bacon, eggs, and then pork, obviously, because I had bacon, and some very little chicken. I just didn't eat much chicken. It wasn't very appetizing. If I could have a nice juicy beef, that like I just didn't want much chicken.
Yeah.
And then
you were taking creatine.
Yeah, I took creatine. I'm still taking creatine. And then in the middle there, like after the first 3 weeks, I started adding cheese in.
Okay.
And then I started getting pretty congested, so I took cheese out. Yeah.
And did that change the congestion?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that was the whole reason I tried it. Like, I never really considered myself to have a bunch of chronic issues. But I was like, oh, well, my allergies are bad. And then I heard Brett talking about, how it helped with his inflammation and his pain. I was like, well, I'll try it for allergies. So that was my whole motivation to try it. But
yeah,
it was just extremely fascinating. So, yeah, because I know you did more dairy, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I drank milk like I had a cow in the backyard.
I figured you did. Like, you're already like a half gallon a day kind of guy.
I could if I wanted to. I could easily drink a half gallon a day. That would not be hard. I have to limit myself so that I don't drink that much. And then on carnivore, it was worse. It was like I wanted more milk because it's just like give me more milk, more calories, more fat. Like I just wanted more of that.
I bet. Did milk taste like pretty sweet?
It was so good.
That's kind of what I imagined. Like if I had a glass of milk right now, dude, it would taste like freaking chocolate milk. It'd be so sweet.
It is wonderful. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So I mean, I did it and my wife did it as well. And I was mostly doing it somewhat in solidarity with my wife, because way easier. I mean, I know, Jeff, your wife was not doing it. I feel like it was harder since you were doing it solo in the house, and then everybody else in your house is eating all sorts of stuff that you can't eat, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Well, what happened is they ended up eating a lot of meat and protein because I do a lot of the cooking. So my family, in turn, their protein intake went way up.
Yeah. Yeah. So what we did because I wanted us to be successful, we seasoned meat how we would always season meat.
Yeah.
We had wings. We had wings probably 4 or 5 times through that 40 days, and I put Frank's on it, like I normally do whenever I make wings, like I did in Arizona when we had wings in Arizona. So we did that normally, like garlic powder, onion powder, that sort of stuff. That got seasoned. I didn't use like barbecue sauces afterwards. I didn't do anything like that. But as far as seasoning it like before cooking, I did. I did have coffee in the mornings, so I did have that. There's depending on which carnivore you're following, there's a bunch that say okay, coffee's fine, like they're okay with that. Some say no, only water. So I did have coffee, and then I did still have bourbon, and that was that was going in. I was like, I'm gonna still drink coffee. I'm gonna still drink some bourbon.
Yeah.
So I adhered to it pretty darn close. I'm trying to remember. Like I cheated a couple times. I made like a fake dessert and I took cottage cheese, which is still technically carnivore, and then I put some honey in it, which is technically kind of carnivore because it's an animal product. So again, yeah. So depending on how you're following it, that was my dessert a couple times. I really wanted something sweet, and so that's what I had for it.
Gotcha.
And look, cottage cheese with honey in it is actually delicious. I don't know
it really
if
is.
people have tried that before, but it's great.
Dude, cottage cheese is just a carrier, dude. Like it pretty much goes with everything.
Everything.
Yeah. Like I'll have bowls of cottage cheese with like fruit and honey, and then I'll have bowls of cottage cheese with like Franks and pickles in it. Like it can go either way.
I'll have it with like sauerkraut.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It will. It works. It's good.
That sounds awful. I'll say this. I probably shouldn't talk about this, but I mean, my wife lost 17 pounds in 40 days. So
nice,
I mean, that was that was great for her. She is and should be super ecstatic. She's kind of a chronic Dr. Pepper drinker, and so that was talking about the side effects of it. Like the first couple of days for her, like I think like day 3 or 4, just going cold turkey, no carbs, no sugar, no Dr. Pepper. Like she actually got like super nauseous, super sick. Like the withdrawals for that first week were really tough for her. So, but she kept it up. It was kind of eye-opening.
Did she go back? Did she go back to Dr. Pepper?
No, she has not had a Dr. Pepper yet.
Oh.
Since it's like, I mean, she saw this great success and she's like, I don't want to revert.
Yeah.
And somewhat you like that really bad reaction to cutting out Dr. Pepper and sugar and having this like your body react that horribly. It's kind of like, okay, this maybe this stuff is actually really bad. Like I know, like you know it's not good, but then it's like your body's telling you, no, this is a drug that you've been addicted to, type deal. So that was
it was really fascinating, just like the stuff that I was thinking towards the end of it, because I was like, man, I'm seeing a lot of really positive things in my body, like my workouts, my overall health. Like I've got these chronic issues that I didn't really realize were chronic issues have sort of dissipated. I'm not really dealing with anymore.
Interesting.
And so then it came around to the end of it, and I was like, well, I'm like really torn. I was just going to do this for 40 days. And I was like, but I actually feel really great. So I don't really know what to do. Like, because part of me was like, I don't want to eat like this forever. And then part of me was like, but I do want to feel like this forever. So it was very fascinating. Just like my mind was just going all over the place, dude. So what were you thinking and everything, like when you had your evening of like you ate the stuff, you ate the things when it was all said and done? After that and the way it made you feel, like what are you thinking after that?
Okay, so day 41 when it ends, so that was Declan's had his 6th birthday party that night, and then another of our friends had their 4-year-old had a birthday party for lunch that day, so I had to go to that too. And I ran 6 miles that morning, and I didn't eat breakfast. We had people over, and I just didn't have breakfast. And so I go over there, and the healthiest, it's like there's peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, there's chicken salad sandwiches, which I would seriously just throw up to eat those. And then there's pigs in a blanket. And those are my options for lunch. I'm like, okay, I have to eat. I'm technically off of this carnivore diet. So I grab like 7 or 8 little small pigs in a blanket, and I eat those, and I
didn't
drink
just
some
push
water.
the little piggies out and eat those?
No, I was like, well, I can't eat the bread. So at this point, okay, I'll eat the bread. So that's what I had for lunch. And then I was making I smoked 3 pork butts. We had pulled pork for Declan's party that night, and we had the option to have it as on a slider. Katie made homemade hot rolls sliders, on nachos, or on top of mac and cheese. And well, it's a homemade hot roll, which those are the best things in the world. It's like, okay, I ate one of those. I only ate one, which that's probably the first time in my life that I've had homemade hot rolls available to me and only eaten one. But then I went for the nachos. So plate of chips, throw on the pulled pork, sour cream, everything, queso on top of it, and I'm hungry, right? Like I've had like 8 pigs in a blanket, and I just go to town on that stuff. Eat all of it, and then what else did I have? And then we had strawberry shortcake for dessert. So homemade pound cake. I made homemade whipped cream, and then strawberry shortcake. And I feel like there was something else that I probably ate too. There probably was some other sort of carb.
You drank a beer
or something that I ate. Oh yeah, I drink a beer. There was a guy that came over. I wasn't going to. There was a guy that came over that I hadn't met before, and he brought some beers with him, like to be nice. And he brought them, and he opened it, and he was the only one drinking. I was like, okay, I got it. Like, I don't want him to feel bad because he brought this, and then nobody's drinking it. He's the only one drinking it. Like, that actually was my thought process. Like, okay, I'm gonna drink one. So like, try to make him not feel bad, because it was very nice that he brought it. So yeah, I had a beer on top of it, which obviously we know is full of carbs. Dude, I woke up at 3 a.m. the next morning, like that night, and like I kind of wanted to throw up. Like I just felt I just felt awful. Like I just felt horrible, and I kind of just wanted to throw up. It was bad. And so, yeah, so the question is, what do you do going forward? Like, because I'm with Jeff in that I don't want to eat like that all the time. I had a huge plate of spaghetti tonight. I've been craving spaghetti for the past 40 days. So I had a huge plate of spaghetti. I ate a brownie, and it was excellent. Because Katie made brownies for the party too. So we still have a half pan of brownies. I don't know what I'm going to do because I really like brownies, and so they're just sitting there, and I am the only one who will eat them. So that's tough. But it's tough. It's weird. The carnivore is great because it's easy. It's easy in the restrictions, because the restrictions are so strict that it's just like, oh, I just can't have it.
Yeah.
Like there's no wishy-washy, there's no nothing. It's like if you break it, you know you've broken what you've said you're going to do, right? And so what is going to be really hard is to say, like, okay, I can have sugar, but I can only have super limited quantities of it. Or I can have bread, I can't have carbs, I can only have very limited quantities of it. And then actually adhering to, okay, what are limited quantities? Actually adhering to that. When there's kids are trick-or-treating, right? Like they have a bag full of chocolate candy, and Declan doesn't eat chocolate. So that's going to sit. Little tiny Twix bars are going to sit in my house for the next 6 months.
So what you got to do, and I only do this like a small percentage of the time, is I take the bag of whatever it is, and then I like put it in the trash. And it's really hard to do. I'd much rather put it in my mouth.
I mean, that's it's true.
It's like 50-50.
Yeah, it's true. I also will say that I somewhat love those little tiny ones because a lot of times I just want a taste of sugar. Just give me a small little a small hint, and I can
Yeah.
eat one of those tiny fun size treats.
If they're wrapped, I think it's easier.
Yeah.
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 But if
Yeah,
it's
these
like a
are all.
bag of like sour
Oh
gummy,
no, those are no good. So yeah, I don't know I mean. Katie and I have discussed that. Okay, we'll only eat bread if we make it ourselves. Like if we do homemade bread, then we can have bread on stuff. Otherwise, we won't eat it. We'll have one dessert a week, and that will be our sugar consumption for the week. I just don't know if I can. I don't know if I can stick to that because it's still was like, well, you can have more. You're just artificially saying you can't have more. So yeah,
I think you can do whatever you want to, Jeremy.
Yeah.
You can.
You can choose to do whatever you want to, whatever way that goes.
Yeah, that's true. And I'll say, I will say this: I've never dealt with chronic issues. I don't have any chronic issues. I can't really say that I feel a lot different on carnivore versus before. I didn't lose a bunch of weight. I didn't really lose maybe a few pounds, like 3-4
Did you notice
pounds,
a different? I mean, you've been running and stuff. Did you notice any difference there with like your perceived effort or like anything like that?
I can't say that I have. I will say like the last couple of weeks of it, I definitely increased how much working out I was doing. Like the last 7 days of it, like I hit really hard. It's probably the hardest physical week I've hit for the year, like this year, as far as working out and stuff. It was the hardest one. And I felt fine doing it. So that, I mean, like that was good. I hadn't tried to do a week like that before, so how much of that is carnivore or not, I can't say. But I really can't like just point to carnivore made me feel better here or made this happen better here. I really can't point to something like that. But again, I'm sitting at a pretty healthy weight for my size. I don't have any sort of chronic issue at this point. And so like there's not something that and I generally eat fairly healthy-ish. Like I don't have I usually don't go crazy on sweets most of the time.
Yeah, I mean you're always dogging on me for eating a bunch of sweets, so makes sense.
I don't right. I mean, we know that Jeff consumes, he can consume. I cannot consume the amount of sugar or sweeteners that he is capable of consuming. Like I like Oreos. I really like Oreos, but 4 is my max. Like I don't ever eat more than 4. Like 4 and 4 to eat 4 in one time. To eat 4 at one time is a lot. Like my typical is I'll eat like 2.
You just need to adapt to it by eating more slightly every single time.
And that's exactly. That would be
then you could probably handle more.
That's true. I probably could.
That's 100% true.
Like, yeah, but I mean, if Jeff's sitting down and eating Oreos, he's eating a whole row. Like that's just like the whole row is gonna be gone.
If I'm alone, I'm eating the whole package.
Oh my gosh.
A row is if the family's home and they want some.
Dude, I can't even imagine what that would feel like.
Can't imagine putting 2,500 calories worth of Oreos down.
No, I really can't.
Easy peasy.
That would be bad. So that was my experience with carnivore. I think, I mean, Kate and I have talked, like we kind of want to try do this maybe once a year, take 40 days, and we're gonna do carnivore for 40 days, kind of as a reset. Kind of just hit a reset button, make sure we're still kind of staying healthy as we go forward, not letting anything get crazy out of hand, and just kind of see what changes we make. So
Interesting. I like it. It's
Yeah.
a good one. Good plan.
Yeah, Jeff, I know you ate a stack of pancakes that first morning.
Yeah.
What else did you imbibe in that first day back?
So I ate pancakes, and the interesting thing was I had hoped for this period that like the sugar addiction would be
yeah.
curbed, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well now I bet that I can eat, just 2 pancakes and I'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I even like made sure that I ate eggs with it. Like I ate eggs first, and then I still couldn't stop, dude. I mean, I ate like 6 pancakes or something like that. So that was frustrating. I was like, well, damn, I guess I'm still me. And then that evening we went to a Mexican restaurant, and I didn't have anything sweet, but a bunch of chips and salsa and tortillas and all that stuff, beans, rice. Anyway, the very next morning, dude, actually that night when I went to bed, one of the chronic issues that I've been having popped back up, which is like I don't struggle with it all day, but then if I come home and I sit at this desk for 30 minutes before bed, like my feet they'll swell up. And so that hadn't happened the whole time I was eating carnivore, and that happened that night. And you could say it was from the salt, but I heavily salt everything. So I really don't think it was the salt. Like I freaking like salted butter in the coffee, salting all the meat, extra salt in the electrolytes, salting the eggs. Like I use so much salt. So yeah, feet swelled up, and then the next morning, super congested, and another chronic issue that I've been dealing with just this year, nosebleeds, and my nose started bleeding again yesterday morning.
That's nuts.
So it all kind of hit me at once, which I didn't even really think of those things as chronic. I was just like, oh, I'm a middle-aged man. I'm dealing with these things now. But then they all went away, and I didn't even realize that they went away until they came back. And I was like, oh shit, this hasn't been happening, and now it is. So
that's fascinating.
Yeah. I will probably, and honestly, like the pancakes, like they weren't as good as I thought they would be. Like I couldn't stop eating them, but it wasn't like after I finished, I was like, yes. It was like, huh. And that's kind of how I felt the next day. I was like, well, it made me feel like shit, and it wasn't that great. So I don't think I'm gonna do that again for a while. And that's where I'm at. Like I just went back to eating carnivore today. I didn't have any carbs, or keto. Probably more like keto. Like I'm gonna eat probably like jalapenos and other various vegetables, but I'm probably gonna stay away from like pretty much anything baked.
Yeah, I mean, it does sound like you probably do have a pretty like gluten and dairy intolerance. Probably is.
Dairy for sure causes a lot of congestion, that type of stuff for me. And then I don't know if it's sugar or gluten. I don't really know, but I'll just cut the whole lot of it out. It's much easier to like not eat
it is
flour than to try to eat gluten-free things. So I'd rather just not deal with that. Not show up to a restaurant and be like, you got any that gluten-free?
Right, yeah.
Just be like, no, just bring me a steak. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. Like, dude, like I'm just gonna go back on it because, dude, my workouts have been incredible. Like, I'm getting stronger, and that's the other thing is like my body composition just changed. Like, I dropped a couple pounds, right? Like, I was 186 last time I weighed, and I think I was probably like 192 before we started. But like, my body looks completely different. So it's just incredibly easy to build muscle when you're eating that much protein.
He'll post before and after pictures on the Discord for those who want to see Jeff's body composition. He's going to post those up.
Yeah. But so I really like that I didn't just become emaciated because I wasn't eating carbs. Like I didn't really lose any significant body mass. I got stronger. I got better at running. I can breathe better. My nose is not bleeding. My feet are not swelling up. Yeah, I just feel great. So I'll keep doing it and eat some avocados and jalapenos and stuff like that. But yeah, I like it.
I had a similar experience because the following night after the birthday parties, like I said, there was brownies and ice cream, and I had been craving that the whole time, and so I ate a fairly small bowl of brownies and ice cream that night, and similar thing. It was like you finish. Okay, I should be able to just eat a small bowl, and I'll be satiated with it. And I ate that small bowl, and I just wanted to keep eating more, like that. It was just like that. The sugar I just want more. I just want more. I just want more. And what's so different about when you're on carnivore is you get hungry, and so you eat, and you start eating a steak, and you'll eat it, and maybe you eat the whole steak, maybe you eat 3/4 of it, and you're just done, and like your body's just like, if I eat more of this, I'm gonna feel sick, so you just stop eating, and you're 100% fine with stopping eating. You don't get that when you're eating like sugar and carbs and stuff like that. Like you just keep eating. And so that was cool.
Yeah, that's not like you making this up. Like this is something it's a real thing. It's like you can just eat a lot of sugar and not feel full, or like maybe feel full, but you're like, it's so good. And then but yeah, other things aren't, it's not that way. And so that's a tell too. So it's like, this makes, like, my body actually knows how to regulate this thing.
Yeah. So for me, the biggest difference was before I associated like fullness and satiety with like how full my stomach felt, right?
By the way, I've never heard somebody say satiety, but that was cool.
Have you
keep
not?
going. Satiety?
Yeah. Yeah. I associated satiety.
Great. Keep going.
With like how full my stomach felt. Like it was full. It was like, ooh, it felt tight and kind of pushed out.
Like it feels distended almost. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And but like that's what I associated fullness with.
Yeah.
And like I don't get that feeling at all unless I'm eating like sugar and carbs, essentially. Like that's the feeling those things give me, right? And like you were saying, when you're just eating protein and fat, you don't get that feeling, but your brain's like, that's enough. We're done here. We've had what we need. So it's very different feelings of full. One is like a psychological full. Hey, you're done. This food's not good anymore. Give it to someone else to eat. And one of them's like, oof, I can't eat anymore. I'm so full.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Like two completely different types of fullness.
That's probably like a really good way of explaining it.
Yeah.
Because like you could eat ice cream until you're like, wow, I don't think I can fit any more ice cream.
Yeah.
Right.
But then it's a different thing than eating like whatever else that
what's your body, like the calories that your body needs, right? The calories and nutrients your body actually needs.
The other thing that happened with ice cream, if I eat some amount of ice cream at night, then I like every morning I'll wake up with like a crazy headache. It's just like, oh. And I mean, obviously I'm not adapted to eating lots of ice cream. Like I could get there.
You could.
But that, and so then we haven't been really getting any ice cream. But then there'll be like a birthday party or whatever, and I'll be like, oh yeah. And then I'll be like, why does my head hurt so much? And I'll have to like take an ibuprofen or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you end up taking drugs because you ate this drug. Yeah, it is fascinating, and I think it is pretty eye opening to do it, and so I mean I would encourage people to do it. I don't think it's probably like in a long run. I'm not like a total believer like that we have to go. Everybody needs to go carnivore. I think something like a paleo, like meat, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, stuff like that. Small amounts of grain products, not what Americans think of as grain products, but small amounts of grain products.
Hot dog bun.
Probably, yeah, hot dog bun. Yeah, you got to get your protein through the hot dogs, for sure. I did not eat any hot dogs on this. I ate a bunch of sausage, but no hot dogs.
Yeah. I had some brats.
Yeah, that was basically what I ate for lunch. Is I would cook sausage at the beginning of the week, and then I could just heat up a link at lunch, and that was because I didn't eat any. I ate no deli meat while I was on it, so it was all sausage and stuff. And
yeah.
I encourage people to do it, and it's surprisingly not that hard. It's not convenient. You have to plan your. I think this is a good thing. You have to plan your meals out, right? Like that's the hard thing is if you run out of food at the house, you can't just go heat up some mac and cheese that's been sitting in the pantry for the past 3 months, right? Like there's a certain amount. If you don't plan accordingly, you will run out of food. And I did not eat out once in 40 days. It's like I just ate at the house. So that, I just didn't do that. So it forces you to plan, which is probably good for a lot of people because a lot of people eat junk because they don't plan. But it is somewhat easy because, like I said, you just go buy steaks, go buy some hamburger patties, buy some chicken, and that's what you're gonna eat. Bacon and eggs in the morning. It's great.
That was my grocery haul. Like, the girls would get their groceries, and then I would go to the store, and I would just get like 3 dozen eggs, a couple pounds of ground beef, and a few different steaks, and a bunch of butter and some bacon. And like, I would pick in stuff from other groceries, but like that was the base, and that's what I needed every week. It was so easy, in and out of the store in like freaking 10-15 minutes, something like that. Yeah, I love it.
It's great.
I'm gonna keep doing it with little tweaks here and there, but yeah, I just feel too good. The workouts feel too good. I did do blood work before we stopped. I did blood work and sent that off. So nice. We're gonna see. We're gonna see how that looks too.
That'll be fascinating. I know Brett will be listening to this, and he will be so proud to hear.
Oh yeah, he's giddy. Yeah, he's giddy
to hear that you're doing this. We also I haven't taken an after picture yet, but I do have a before picture. This was from back in May. Was whenever this picture was taken. I hadn't worked out in like 6 months at that time, and I took a picture and Brett got exposed to it on our nationals trip, and and just the disgust in his voice when he saw it, and just how little he thought of me. I could just hear it. I could hear it whenever he spoke.
Yeah, you showed him.
Wow, that's terrible.
Yeah, you showed him the after picture from last time you did, like a carnivore diet first, and then you showed him your current physique.
Yeah. And luckily I'm not as trim as I lost more weight the first time I did this carnivore thing. And I think I know why, but I'm not quite as trim as I was at that point, but I do look a lot better than I looked at in May. So I'll have an after picture at some point here. We need get a few more Murphs in, and we'll
there you go.
We'll be looking a lot better. But so I encourage anybody, if you do it, let us know. We want to hear about it, and let's hear what goes well, what doesn't go well.
I really think
Jay to do it.
Like really try it. Like whoever, try it for like no particular reason. Like you can think it's stupid the whole time, but it's just really fascinating. Like the things that you notice, your like the fullness deal, like the differentiating different types of fullness, your cravings. And the last thing I'll say is like the first 3 weeks were not really fun. After 2 weeks, I was tired of eating this stuff. And after that, like the workouts were kind of garbage. I didn't have any energy. Like I'd go out and do a set of deadlifts and I'd be like, I'm freaking done. Like that's it. That's all I got. But after 4 weeks, it started getting better. And I would say to this day, it's just getting better. Yeah. So it's just really fascinating. I would encourage anybody to try it.
I will say, last week, like I don't know, we had like three days left. I'm getting texts from Jeff, and Jeff's like, "I'm done with this. I'm ready to be. I'm done with this. I just don't want to eat. I don't want to eat beef. Like I'm just sick of eating beef, salted beef.
You need goat then. You just need variety.
Oh, dude, I cooked some lamb. Holy cow!
Oh,
that was so good. It was so good. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, lamb is one of our go-tos. You can get it at Sam's, and it's I have a it's not chorizo. I have a oh gosh, what's it? Dadgummit, I'm just forgetting the name of it. It's like a cilantro and oil and onion sauce that I make to go on top of it.
Okay.
It's so good. Really, really good. So, okay, enough carnivore. Have we discussed the carnivore enough? I think we've probably carnivore. Okay, let's talk about Jay. I want to talk about Jay.
Let's do it.
First of all, it's brave of you to come back on, Jay, because I feel like the last time you were on with Tyler and Potato, like those guys were trying to be nice to me, and I really feel like you kind of just wanted to pick a fight, is what I felt like.
I think it was just too much, and it was very abnormal. I felt like very uncomfortable with no one kind of ragging on you for things.
You felt uncomfortable, not that other people would, but like that you just wanted to beat up on me.
I felt like uncomfortable, so I had to say something to make myself feel more comfortable. And yeah, I couldn't we couldn't keep on praising you for that long. I think that when it went on already, it had already gone on too long. So
yeah,
but I guess a little weird.
I mean, I feel like the other two were in the praising mode, but you kind of never really got into that with them.
No,
that's not. He knows. He knows that's not. That's not where you're supposed to go, man.
There has to be one person that like holds the line down, and Jeff wasn't there. Now since Jeff is here, like I can go. I mean, I immediately praised your mustache. When we got on early before we started recording, because like something about a good mustache is just, I don't know.
Oh, it's
just
it's just What can you say?
What can you say? Yeah, but also like Jeremy, you suck.
Okay, there we go. Now we have the beef out in the open. I appreciate that. Okay, so you ran. What was it like? Was it a 10K?
It was a 5-mile race. It's almost
okay.
Yeah, okay. I kind of wanted it to be a 10K because I think I was gonna get a good 10K time.
You would have
going. I also started that race out like too slow.
Oh, really?
So I was like, just like, there was more left. So like it was paced better for myself for like a 10K.
Okay. So let's, I mean, without like, you may not remember the exact stats, but okay. It was 5 miles. What was your total time?
I think it was like 32 minutes.
Okay. So then what did that end up being your pacing? Do you remember?
I think average per mile was like 6:25 or 6:23 or something like that. But I started out like 6:45, and then
didn't you go sub 6 on 1 mile?
No, I think I was right around 6 on the last mile.
Jeez.
but then I was like, I don't know. I feel like already, I learned so much from that race, but that's going to be the only race that I ever run.
Oh, really? Okay, so you're not planning on doing more?
No, I mean maybe I'll run that same race again, but maybe like I'll maybe my wife will run it and I'll like run the 1 mile fun run with my boys or something like that, or like I'm not going to get into racing, like,
Okay.
but it doesn't mean like I'm going to train and then run really hard like a race sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I'm not gonna get into road racing. I mean, I did a lot of that before, but
Okay, so you have done a lot of racing in the past, running and stuff.
yeah, like I ran cross country, and then
Okay.
I've run a handful of half marathons, and I ran a marathon with my brother.
Okay.
And
What was your marathon time?
oh, it was really slow. Like I walked a lot. I didn't train. My furthest training run was like 10 miles. Um, yeah, it was like five.
Oh,
20
really?
things. Yeah.
That's surprising. That's very surprising
Yeah.
to me.
Like right now I could run way faster than that because
Yeah.
I feel like I know how to train now.
Yeah.
Or like no, I don't know how to train, but I know way more how to train. But yeah.
Nice.
I don't know. I do it like it's become so it's like very meditative. Like I'll go out, like I don't bring my phone with me unless I'm going to call Saul or something like that. But but I just
Saul is potato for the listeners who don't know.
Oh yeah,
Oh, right.
confused.
Yeah.
Potato. I realized no one knows his name because it's just been Potato.
Yeah. Saul's
Yeah.
first name is Potato.
It's beautiful.
But Jay calls him by his middle name, Saul.
Yeah. I don't know, but running's been so nice. Like just so I don't know, it's very it's different every time, and I don't know. I really enjoy it. And I also like being fit too.
Do you feel like kids have made you enjoy running more?
Yeah, so you can like leave them at home and then go for a run or whatever. Yeah. No, I think so. Like, cause you go and hang out with kids at a birthday party, and they're like running around, and then like someone's got to go run around with them, and then like you run up a hill or whatever, and you're like, all right, I can't, like I'm gonna be sore the next day, and I can't breathe. Yeah. And like this is not a way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I got
And,
into some of that.
And sometimes it you got into what?
Just chasing kids around at the lake a couple weekends ago. Well, the whole family was out there and everything, and the kids wanted to play. Dude, I chased them so hard. It was a good workout. It's a good workout.
Yeah.
I'd let them get like way across the field, and then I'd just freaking haul down on them and sweep them off the ground and run around with them. It's
exactly
a good workout. Yeah. But I'm glad I'm able to do that, like you're saying.
Yeah, it's huge. And then the other thing that I was thinking about today when I was running was like I did some higher mileage weeks for myself a little while ago, and I like wore through my foot.
So what is a normal week, and then what is a high mileage week for you?
So like normal week is like 20 miles a week. Okay. So nothing, not like crazy, but it's running like a couple miles every day.
Yeah.
With
that would
maybe
be 3 miles a day.
Yeah. And then so like for me like 35 would be a bigger week.
Okay.
And then within that week there was much more like interval stuff, like maybe they're short, like I was doing more interval stuff, which those add up, like you can run some bigger mileage there, but also like there's more stress on your feet with that. And so I ended up like I did a run, and I was like, like, cause you can feel your feet. You're like, I think there's some padding left. And then I felt them, and I was like, it's pretty close. Like we're pretty close to going through. And I went on it, and it was like, yeah, we broke through a little bit there. And then so you can't, like, you have to let your feet recover then from that. But then I was inspired about like, wow, I learned so much about that. Like, this was one of the things that I was like, wow, like I made a jump in my learning. Like, I should recognize this, and then instead of doing a certain type of run, I should do another type of run or not run that day.
Yeah. So how long does
and
recovery, if you're like, if I wear out a sole, like I buy new shoes and my recovery is pretty short, but if you wear out a sole in your shoes, how long does recovery take to get the sole to grow
Yeah.
back?
I mean, like all the way back, it's like 2-3 days.
Oh,
It's like faster than you can like order a pair of shoes. Yeah.
oh, okay.
So,
That's quicker
but
than I would have thought. I would have figured at least a week.
yeah, it depends. I mean, I guess it depends on like what you do to your foot.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you like super glue it up?
that's a good idea. I've been hearing people talk about Leukotape.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever,
Oh
like,
yeah.
I never tried Leukotape. And I've been
Leukotape, K-tape,
Yeah,
all pretty much the same stuff.
I need to get some of that so that I can like slap it on a thin spot. But also at the same time, I'm not like I'm okay if I don't run and I let my feet heal and then just run as is. Like,
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not
if it's only a day or 2 or 3, like that's probably even good for you.
probably good.
Depending on where your training cycle's at, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you're running 20 miles a week, maybe 30, 35 on a heavy week. What is like if you're not running races, what's the impetus to run that much, or then to pick it up, or are you doing some of your own, like, hey, I have this goal that I want to run a sub 40 10K. Actually, you'd probably be like 37. You're probably around 37 for a 10K is what you're looking for.
I think if I did, yeah, like maybe 38. I don't know. Maybe that would be reasonable.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's 10 minutes. 10 minutes off of mine almost.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. Like,
So it's simply you just enjoy the running.
I enjoy the running, but also like I enjoy like seeing progression too.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've posted a little bit on the Discord about stuff, but like, you know, a year ago, I would go for a run at a certain heart rate, and then it would be like my heart rate would then compare to my pace, and now if I do that same, if I run at that same heart rate, I'm running like 2 minutes per mile faster, you know?
That's insane.
Damn.
And like that progression has definitely slowed. Like it's not like that, but I like seeing that progression, and I like seeing, like, I also like pushing myself and making myself really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I wish I was more like that.
Yeah,
like
I mean, I don't know if I like it. Like I get nervous. Like it's the same thing. Like before I shoot a match,
or you jump in a cold water tank.
Yeah, it's the same exact thing. It's like, but I like the feeling of trying to do something and then like doing it. I mean, like I don't know how many times where I was like, okay, I'm going to do 4 intervals at this thing, and I do 1 and I'm like, I think I'll just do like 1 more at like a low effort. but then you like, you start it and you're like, okay. And then you do the 3rd one. You're like, well, there's only 1 more after this. And so I don't know. It's just,
right.
Yeah.
It's
no, like, so I can very much relate to that because like I've been, like I said, I think I mentioned doing Murphs. I've been doing what I'm calling almost Murphs, in that I just haven't done the last mile. So I run a mile, then the 300 body squats, 200 push-ups, 100 pull-ups, and then I'm out of time and I gotta go back inside, cook breakfast. But I've been doing those a lot, and it's like, okay, I can keep doing them. They're great workouts. I can keep doing them, but I find myself, the reason why I like doing them and I'm happy to keep doing them even though they're hard is because I know I can do them.
Yeah.
Like I've done it and I know I can just keep doing them. And so I'm very happy to keep doing them. Whereas if like Jeff sent me a workout that probably equally as hard as a Murph, but not something that I'd have done, and like I don't know if I can do it, I'm gonna
Yeah.
hate that workout, right?
Yeah.
Like whenever I get to like halfway through a Murph or 3/4 of the way through a Murph and I'm hurting, it's like, okay, I know I can get through this. But then if
Yeah.
it's something that's new, it's like, well, I don't know if I can get through this. And that's what running does to me. Like when you're trying to run for time, I really hate running for time. Even though
Yeah.
it's something you try to do frequently, uh, because it's like you get a mile in, right? Like even if you're only doing a 5K, it's 3 miles. Like you get a mile in, and it's like I'm already hurting, and I have to go 2 more miles. Like, are you kidding me? Which I mean, for
Yeah.
me, the first mile is always the worst. Like if I can just get into a pace, I'll usually maintain that pace fairly well. But there's just that weird mental thing. Like I don't want to suffer anymore. I'm done suffering, and I don't know how long I can suffer. And that's where it's like, okay, so I'll just stop suffering.
I always surprise myself with it too, but it takes time to get into it, because you'll do like, if you like stretch the time of that you're doing an interval out further, you're like, but I feel like I barely maintained it for 5 minutes that other time. And then you're like, all right, I'm gonna do that pace for 15 minutes now. And then you're like, but you know it's 15 minutes, and so then you don't put that cap on yourself where you're like, oh, I'm done at 5.
Right.
And so then you can actually do it.
Yeah.
But it's also really scary. And also like the thing where you do a timed run, and like I'm always prone to, and it's the same with shooting, and where it's like, more cautious at the start or whatever.
Yeah.
Like err on the side of caution so that you can like finish strong. And,
Yep.
and what I've been trying to do is like start out, which was easy at first when I started running, is start out too fast. Like I could do that at first.
Yeah.
But now that I have like a sense of things, like I know what I could run in, and I know what's like maybe too fast or on the edge. But like to start out a 5K like way too fast, but try to hold on as long as possible. Like that's not how maybe you should run a 5K. I don't know. But like that's really scary. And that's something that I'm going to take into my shooting more so. And I think that I started to do that like the end of last year. But like to carry that forward where it's just to go for it. Like I was talking to Potato about this, like last year. I think like I don't have anything to lose at certain matches. And then even if matches where like even nationals, like I didn't have anything to lose. Like there's no, I mean,
you're not making a career off of shooting. Not now, not currently, that I know of.
No.
I could be wrong. But I think goats are your primary. Goats and blueberries.
Goats are my primary,
and they don't care.
So this is why everything ties together, and like you can relate it to so many things. But it's like I don't have to be afraid of messing up. Because when I mess up, like I know that there will be some type of jump in either understanding or actual skill or something like that. Which like, and so I'm thinking about it in the sense of like running with bare feet is like the same. I'm thinking like training until I wear through, or like competing until I wear through my feet, not literally, but like, I don't know. It's exciting, also very scary.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So I had a kind of a similar conversation with this. Declan is in karate. The discipline is Sanda, which is like a Chinese. I'm learning a lot more about martial arts because I've now dove into YouTube martial arts stuff, and it's great. But talking to his sensei, and Declan loves it, which is I get kicked perpetually all the time now. Like he walks around, and I get a roundhouse kick to the shin, which is great. But I was talking to his sensei, and he's like, yeah, like he has students and he goes to competitions and world competitions and he has like guys taking like professional fights and paid fights and stuff like that. And he said, man, I have kids and like they get to a certain level and I can't get them to take any more fights. He says,
Mm.
because they're undefeated. And
Yeah.
so like a fight comes up, like he said he had a kid that a fight came up and it was paid. The kid was going to make $3,000 win, lose, draw. Like it was going to, like that was the appearance fee, $3,000, just take the fight. And they were like, should I take it? Yeah, you should go do it. Like you're going to get great experience. You're going to make money. Like, yes, you absolutely should go do it. And the fighter ended up turning it down. He was like, well, what if I lose? And then I don't know if I can handle losing.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, I can relate to that. Like I very much can relate to that. You know, like not the undefeated part, not that part of it, but not wanting to lose and putting yourself out there. And you know, like it's like, man, as far as my kids, like growing up and being able to talk about this mental aspect of it, like, man, you're winning if you just show up. Like if you go and compete, how many people out there wish they just, pardon the crassness, but wish they had the balls to just show up and compete? Like, right? Like there's so many that just won't even show up. And like if you'll just step into the ring, if you'll step onto the match and show up, you're already winning. So like, so do it. And if you win, cool. If you lose, maybe even better because you'll probably learn more.
Yeah, totally. I don't know. I don't know why Jacob Hetherington pops into my mind with this, but like Jacob, he'll show up.
Yeah.
Like he'll just show up, and I've only shot with him a couple times, or maybe only just once, but like he'll just be fighting for, for a good score, like no matter what. Like he's just fighting for it. He's not going to lay up on stuff. I mean, like I'm sure like that this happens to a certain degree, but like the default attitude is like I'm here to see what happens at what I deem to be my ability.
Yeah.
And to not like kind of dodge around that at all. And he'll just show up at like he's not going to like win a match and then be like, well, I'm not going to shoot this next national. I mean, obviously it's his job. Like he's doing it. Like
sure.
Not necessarily like he has a choice, but I don't know. I think it's interesting. And I think we should tie this directly into you guys. Just talk yourself into, you have to actually, you won't be getting paid $3,000. You'll actually be losing probably double that. But
yeah,
more.
But okay, yeah. So so we all got our invite letters. Jay, you made the production optics team, which is like, that was the deepest field. That was the hardest team to make. Like that was the deepest field. So huge congrats for making that team. That in and of itself is a massive accomplishment. Just to make it into those top four slots. So
Thank you. That was hard. There's some good people.
No, I mean, like you beat out some really, really, really good shooters. So yeah, like that's, I mean, you're at the pinnacle of the sport from the American sense, just by being on that team, which is phenomenal. And so I assume you're going.
Yeah, that's the plan.
To South Africa. Yeah. It's when you have a family, it's like, yeah, I want to go. I'm going to plan on going, but there's other priorities that could like supersede it, right?
Yeah. There's always something that can happen, and like, that's just understood. Obviously, going to like work around anything possible, but like there are things. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
And then you guys both made classic team, which Jeff, like that was, I don't know. I feel like I remember listening to one of the old Hit Factor podcasts, and I feel like you had mentioned something like this at one point, being like, yeah, it'd be cool to like make the team. But I don't know if you believed it at that time, or if you really, I'm sure you did, actually. I bet you were like, yeah. but like, I don't know. I mean, that's really cool. And then Jeremy, you've made it like 3 years in a row, or 3 cycles in a row.
Yeah, technically the third that I've qualified for.
Yeah.
Only I didn't go to Thailand because Thailand, COVID, all that mess. But yeah, so okay, Jay. So your goal is to convince us that we should spend all our savings and go to South Africa.
Yeah, and the whole
Yeah,
like like what do you have to lose?
that's
Well,
it.
actually, there's like lots of money that you would lose.
Yeah, there's that.
So it's harder than to I don't think my job is easy here. I
Yeah.
may
No.
need
Yeah.
I may need more help, but like you guys were saying, I want like I'm gonna go kind of regardless whether or not like I know people or whatever, and like I will know people, and I know like a couple of guys from South Africa there too who I've been talking to for years just about
Okay,
shooting.
cool. Yeah.
But like I want people who I know to also go, so then we can relive that experience for longer.
Yeah.
And
It's
so
true.
I mean that's part of the reason I want you guys to go. It's selfish reason, but I want you guys to go so then like that I don't know. I think that I mean I'm speaking for myself because this hasn't like this was kind of like it's it feels like a big moment or a big thing that I should do.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like I get the thing where it's like really scary to do that in a sense.
Jay,
And
how old are you?
30 now. Yeah.
Okay, 30. Just 30. Yes.
No, this brings up like, man, I'm so conflicted on this topic.
I love it.
Because a lot like what Jay was saying, like you want to go and live this experience because you want to be able to relive this experience, and like I guess that's where my heart is or whatever. And then my mind goes to like all these different situations in my life where like I didn't do the thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I should have done the thing. And one of them is like when y'all are talking about karate, right? And the kids that don't want to take that next step because it's scary. It's a scary step. You're gonna get beat up. You're gonna get loose or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That was an experience when I was like in a little kid playing baseball, t-ball, coach pitch, and the next step was like a little bit scarier, right? The kids are going to be pitching now. No, the coach isn't. Your friendly coach isn't throwing it. And I was like, nah, I quit. And yeah, and like I probably could have gone on and played like college baseball, and I think that would have been like a whole different trajectory.
Well, that's a big step going from kid pitch to I'll play college ball. I love the confidence. That's fantastic.
Jeff's dad was telling him like you're the best.
Exactly.
At this time.
Exactly.
Did they not have machine pitch for in Oklahoma, Jeff?
I don't remember if we did machine pitch or not.
That was the scariest one. Dude, that thing was sling a freaking baseball.
I think step up there. Yeah, I don't remember.
Time hard on those two.
But that was one experience, and then I also have this other memory of in college. One of my professors, he was a geography professor who had done a lot of traveling, and he told us, he was like, when I was in my 20s, I had this big opportunity to, I could either buy a brand new baby blue Mustang, he's like, or I could take this massive trip to South America for this extended period of time. And he was like, and I went to South America, and that's what I would do every single time. And so then I think about that, and I'm just like, yeah, I feel like I should do the thing, but I don't know how I'm going to do the thing. So, yeah.
So The Hit Factor podcast would love some sponsors. If you would like to sponsor us, and ease the burden of going to South Africa so that we can go enjoy a trip with our friends and represent the United States of America. I'll bring my trumpet. I'll play the national anthem on my trumpet if I need to.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Like, yeah, I go back to, so Jeff, you should, and Jeremy, you should watch some of the opening ceremonies.
Oh man.
For
yeah.
Past World Shoots. And like
Mm-hmm.
I think that there, or even for the Olympics or something like that. Like, you see, I don't know. There's a like a deeper element that's where like you have an opportunity to represent your country for like the thing that we love to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, I gotta put everything in order where it makes it really likely that I can do that. Like I can show up.
Yeah.
And
our sport is so individualistic. Like we are so individualized in our sport, right? Like there is zero opportunity basically to compete as a team. Like we simply do not get that team aspect to our sport at all. And this is the one opportunity to do it. And now it's only once every 4 years. Which is
that's another good point.
You know, when it was every 3 years, like okay, if I don't go this one, then I can go to the next one. Well, it's every 4 years. I'll be 44 by the next one. Like at some point, I know. I mean, classic is not that popular. It's not that deep, but like even in classic or even something like that, how many opportunities will I have to even make a world shoot team? Like there's like it's. Yeah, I don't know if I'll have another opportunity even. Who knows what the kids are going to be into as they get older and that sort of stuff. We have a guy on our chat saying, don't go there. It's another world. In South Africa, you are the target. He's like, it's funny in who you talk to. I have a really good friend that's from there that's actually there right now. And they're sending us pictures. They're having a great time. They're enjoying it.
Yeah.
And so like you talk to some people and it's like, hey, no big deal. And then you talk to some people and it's like, dude, it's a third world country and like you better get ready. You better be ready to fight because there's a good chance you're going to have to fight. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
So if you look at, I've the person who I talked to a bunch from there, like he was born there. He lives there all the time.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And it's like, you just pay attention and you don't travel alone and you don't go into sketchy places.
Yeah. Oh, if I'm going, I'm hanging around Bob Crow the whole time. And like, okay.
Well, I was thinking like, yeah, we should hang around. And I hope that he grows like a mustache or something like that.
Yeah, we'll make sure he has a beard. He ain't going over there baby faced. I'm not letting that happen. That ain't gonna fly. So
I would also, if we go, like, I would really like to take our video guys who have said, like, this would be a plane ticket trip for them. So, like, if we would essentially buy them a plane ticket, then they would come and do the video for us. So that would be another aspect. Like, that would be one I would really love to have documented.
Yeah.
That would be
incredible. How much money do you have, like, right now?
Discord. Well, Jeff said he's open up the Discord, so we're not going to make any more on the Discord.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I know.
He probably can get like a third of a ticket. I'm guessing he can buy about a third of a ticket with Discord money, unless he's spent all that on crypto.
I think I have enough credit card points that I could pay for my ticket to get there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's not bad.
Yeah, so I can get there, I think.
Can you get all the training done?
Yeah, so that's much more of a commitment than actually going, to me.
Yeah.
I want to be training all year and I haven't done that probably like since 2020. I haven't like trained all year. Yeah.
I always remember, or I mean, it's easy to pull up circumstances where, like, I just listened to an older podcast of Elias Frangoulis, who was on a Firearms Nation podcast.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about winning Classic in 2017. You were there, Jeremy.
Yep.
And he was like, yeah, I wasn't even really training that year, and like, you know, it just didn't work. Like, wasn't really prepared. But then, like, he shows up and, you know, and he shot really well, and obviously he had like 2 squibs or something like that match, something crazy.
Yeah, his ammo was not, the ammo that he brought was not quality ammo. He got really lucky. He had his he I think our day 2 on the first stage, he was at the end of the stage. He shot and he shot a target. He went to make it up. It was a paper target. He went to shoot a makeup shot on it, and he had a squib.
Yeah. Oh.
And so it's like, so he ended up obviously not making up, but then it's just, okay, unload and show clear. And then he goes to the safe area and knocks the squib out. And then he was gone for 2 hours because he was trying to track down ammo. And he found somebody that had DQ'd like the first day.
Yeah.
That was shooting major. 40 cal major, and so he bought, or they gave him his ammo, and he finished the match shooting that, I think, that ammo. Obviously he went through all the proper channels and chronoed both loads, and he did all that properly, but and yeah, like, it was crazy.
Yeah, and he talked about his prep to that match. Like, he'd switched guns like right before, and like he only got out like one time to the range to check the gun and all this stuff. And then when you guys had Travis Tomasi on, like, you just had him on a couple times, but
yeah,
one of the times, and he was saying that, you know, that world shoot that he won, he had shot, like, didn't he win the nationals that same year or something like that?
I honestly, I can't remember. He does have one national title.
Yeah.
And I can't remember how it correlated with his world shoot title. I just can't remember.
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure. I'm pretty sure on this one where he said he shot like 8,000 rounds, which I know that's Jeff's.
It was small.
But for Travis at that time, he was like 8,000 rounds, and then he went and he won the world shoot. I would think that was the same year.
I think, like, you're right. Yeah.
Maybe it was due to like whatever he had going on in his life, but he couldn't train as much as he wanted to that year.
Yeah.
But like he thought about shooting a lot. It sounded like.
Yep.
And I don't know. I always think of those kind of situations when it's like, yeah, I mean, like nothing is going to go exactly how we want it to in the prep. Like, I just don't think it's not going to go exactly.
No, that's part of the. Yeah, that's part of the struggle, right?
Yeah.
Training never goes how you think it's going to go. It's just like, can you outlast all the struggles, essentially?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, yeah, when I first qualified, I am more wanting to go now than the last podcast we recorded. Part of that is the FOMO. Like, yeah, my buddy Bob is like, he's 100% going. Obviously Jay's going. I'll know quite a few other people that are going. If Jeff goes, like, that would be really tough to sit at home and watch scores and like know that like you could be there. Like, the FOMO would be tough, I think.
Yeah. And I know you had mentioned about the match itself, just because of video we saw from.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit tough.
And I'm thinking about that too, and you know, there's an element there. Like, I think they're gonna pull out some more stops with, and I'm gonna talk to my friend over there, and he has some more information too. But like, it's not gonna be exactly that, but you can look at that and be like, yeah, this is gonna be like there are going to be a bulk of stages that are going to be like that.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, like, I don't know, we can look at it in a different way. And this is the way I've been kind of looking at it, where it's like, oh, you know, I was thinking about this in the sense of, we thought 2023 US IPSC Nationals was like a high hit factor match.
Yeah.
And that match over there was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
But like, I don't know, some little things make kind of can make a big difference with the high hit factor stuff, like little time saving things. And so that can also be a different element in that, like, we can take advantage of as well.
Yeah.
And like, I guess I'm framing it in that way, where I'm just going to look at the stage and take advantage of as much as I can of like what that is going to require, like what the hit factor is, what it's going to require.
Yeah.
And then just think about that. And then like outside of it, I mean, that it's going to be, like there will be more than, it'll be made more of a big deal than other matches. Like they were not going to spend a ton of money on that match also. And I think there's more bays too that they're gonna, like bigger bays that they're gonna try to use too.
I have heard that, yeah, that they, like I think they were there for this one, and maybe they shouldn't have the setup group, right? Like to set up bigger stages takes a lot more time. You know, so I do believe that they have more bigger bays on hand, and here's what I don't know. Potato could probably speak to it more. Like, I don't know how much the host country is, if they're completely responsible for stages, and how much IPSC comes in and says, okay, no, we need to give us your designs for stages, and we're going to send people to make sure that they get set up the way that we want them. I'm not sure how much they'll have a hand in that, to kind of make sure that it is how you would want a world shoot to, the skills that you want a world shoot to be able to test. I think it will be a great experience for anybody that does go. I do worry that there could be, some just civil issues. Like, I mean, part of that's just my ignorance, but I think there's potential for there being civil issues getting over there. I don't look forward to like an 18-hour plane ride. That sounds just absolutely terrible. But again, like, you can't just be scared. You can't not do something because you're scared of it. And if you have people that you know on the plane, then that makes it. I think there will be some organization. Typically, in an international match like that, there will be some organization, either by a few different groups or as a whole. And I think there will be probably some, maybe a group of us get a travel agent together and say, hey, like, let's figure all this out so that we're not all planning individual trips, and make that part of it a lot easier, so that we can kind of plan that together. So I'm more wanting to go now. We have until November 15th, which is the middle of my upcoming class, which is less than 2 weeks away from the day we're recording this. And so I've got to make that decision quickly, because if I don't do it before class, I will forget about it and just won't respond to the email. So that decision needs to come quickly.
Yeah.
No, Jay, you did a pretty good job. You did a pretty good job.
Well, you guys are pretty receptive, so it's.
I think
Look
it's
at
really
Jeremy.
that we want to
He's
go.
all soft and buttered up now. He's like, he's ready to go. He's like, I can't let Jay go without me.
And you know what we have this time is, like, we have all three of us. We have Potato as like our consultant. Like, we can be like, Potato, how do we get this paperwork done? And he'll know right away.
True. Yeah.
He'll be like, oh, you have to go to your thing, and they'll take care of it for you there. And remember to bring this.
International traveler.
Yeah. And also, he just knows about everything. So.
Right. Just being Potato. Yeah.
I imagine that Potato is a pretty swell travel companion, honestly.
He is. Though, like sometimes we'll just start walking around the airport talking, and then we'll totally we won't be paying attention. So if I don't talk to him and I just follow where he goes, then I'm good. But that never happened.
Oh wow. All right, what else did we? I forgot what else was on tap, but I feel like we discussed a
Yeah,
fair
I feel
bit.
like that was good. That should be
solid.
Mm-hmm.
Solid 9.
Hey, and it got back to shooting. You know, we went to carnivore. We discussed chainsaws, carnivore, running, racing.
Yeah,
shooting. Man,
we could get so into so many different topics, and it would be really good. But we'll save them. Like I'll make a note for other podcasts because I think it's a good way. I enjoy it. Like when we're recording, I don't know if people enjoy it. I mean, like I listen to the other one. I listen through everything, but I don't know about other people. But
and I don't care.
I like it when because then you guys just talk. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah. It was great. I thought it was a good conversation. People might. I don't know if they'll get sick of the. I don't care if they get sick of the carnivore talk. It's fine. More of them probably should try it because they could probably stand to lose a few lbs.
I mean, yeah, some people probably turned it off during that. But dude, imagine if like 1 or 2 people were like, "Yeah, I think I'll try it," and it changed their life. Worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. And imagine the conversation that we had about Brett. If he's still listening, that screw Brett because he made us feel terrible about sugar and screw Brett.
Yeah,
it's his fault.
Going back on sugar was so miserable, and I hate you for that because I love sugar.
Brett's fault.
All Brett's fault. Blame him.
Yeah.
And there's exciting new things coming for the Hit Factor podcast. That's all I'll say. You guys don't even know.
I'm excited.
This sounds great. This sounds excellent. Again, we're looking for more sponsors. We need we'll wear hats. Jeff will get a tattoo. We'll do all sorts of stuff.
That's what we forgot to talk about, but I think you should save that one.
Oh, the tattoo.
Yeah,
yes, we'll talk about the tattoo next time. We'll cue that up for next one. Be listening, and we'll talk about that. Anything else, boys?
No,
I don't think so.
Break it like a biscuit.
All right, dude.